That's hot. Oh, yeah.
Fitzy and
Sweet as.
Whipper.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. We love this podcast. I celebrate it and listen to myself back most nights. And I've been on fire lately.
I'm listening to yesterday's.
How was it?
It's
What are we talking about now?
Yeah, I had a bit of a chuckle.
Did you?
At my bits, it's
That's interesting.
it's not too.
I do a similar thing to my bits. Hey, search for Madeline McCann. I mean, I know this is a stretch because we're still talking about it, but a woman has come out and she's created the Instagram page, I am Madeline McCann. She believes she has enough proof to tell you, I am Madeline McCann, and is awaiting a DNA test. Fascinating. More details on the podcast today.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Just let your mind run for a minute here. I'm going to break this down for you. Could you imagine if Madeline McCann was still alive? Like, what an extraordinary possibility and find that would be if the moment came about and you just think about the parents, you think about the relief and what that embrace in the moment would be like if Madeline McCann was alive.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
I know it's a slim chance, and we all know that. And we've seen a lot of the docos and a lot of the shows that have been around as well, Fitz, and the evidence does point to a more sinister ending. So this woman here, I mean, it's a stretch, but it's grabbed a lot of people's attention overnight. It's been all over social media and it's in the news this morning. There's a woman who is from Poland. Her name is Julia, and she started an Instagram page called I am Madeline McCann.
See, why would you go through Instagram?
She believes she is, without question, Madeline McCann. So Madeline McCann, of course, she went missing. Most likely, of course, kidnapped or taken in 2007, so a long time ago in Portugal. So by now, she would be 19 years old. She was 3 at the time, as we know. This woman has come out and said, I am Madeline McCann, and I am hoping that I can get in contact with the parents, Kate and Jerry, and I want to take a DNA test.
So she's gone to the police, because a lot of people are blowing up about this. Why wouldn't you go to the police? But the police aren't following up on it.
No, they haven't taken it that seriously. So what's interesting, I mean, there's some similarities, and this is where a lot of her evidence is based for, and she's convinced. She lives with her grandmother. She says, to start with, there's no photos of me under the age of 4 years old. There's no photos of my mum ever being pregnant. When I ask my mum about the early years of my life, she doesn't say much. She just avoids the conversation. The only reason she knows she wasn't around in that area at the time where she lives now in Poland is because her teachers have told her that she didn't start here until she was 4.
Well, they don't anyway, do they?
Kids.
She's 4.
Well, could have been early learning, whatever. She goes on to say the features that are similar to Madeline McCann. She has a dimple in her left cheek. The most convincing piece would be that she has a mark in her right eye, which is very rare. She has a slight defect in her right eye, which the police were actually hoping to use as their main point in identifying Madeline McCann, because it's like a small little defect or mark that you can see that runs from sort of the middle of her eye down, and this woman has the same mark in her eye, which is quite rare. So that is her main claim here when drawing similarities between her and Madeline McCann. So she has gone to the police, as you said, Fitz. They haven't taken it all that seriously so far. Family.
That's why she's gone on social media, just to show.
Yeah.
She's also hasn't she got a mole or something or a...
Yeah, she's got 2 different moles on her body, which she points out as well to show that that was exactly the same as where Madeline McCann had moles.
How wouldn't you go and get a DNA test?
Well, that's what she's pushing for at the moment. She wants a DNA test, and she wants to meet with Kate and Jerry.
So the parents have agreed to do the DNA test, though, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They'll do anything. I mean, at this stage, they're still willing to look at any lead. That's what the family said. They have said that we will go to our grave trying to find our daughter.
Well, but see, if you're unsure that you're Madeline McCann, or you think you are, wouldn't you just get the tests first before going on social media? Because this is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, you're playing with people's lives.
Oh, could you imagine the false hope? I mean, you would be hanging on to anything. But you know what? The family, Kate and Jerry, they'd be used to this type of thing, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
False leads, false hope to turn up with no evidence or nothing of any concrete possibility. That would go on and on and on. If you look at the photo, I mean, they're saying her jawline is quite similar to Madeline McCann's.
I don't know.
Neither do I. But how am I to know what 16 years of growth looks like? That's the thing. I mean, the rarity in the eye is convincing, without a doubt. Like, that's unique. I don't know anybody with anything like that in their eye, that defect, which Madeline McCann had in her right eye, which this woman has in her right eye. It is strange that the idea of no photos of her when she was younger and no photos of her mum being pregnant.
Well, this case captivated the world, didn't it?
Have you watched any of the docos?
Yeah, I have.
My sister became obsessed with this.
But people do become obsessed with it. This is the thing.
And I think you do because
there's still articles. There's still you get an article every month or so on it. You know, with another lead or...
Remember the police came out, and I'm not sure if it was the Portuguese police or whoever it was, and they said, we have found evidence to prove that Madeline McCann is no longer alive. And it was when they found one person in particular who they'd been tracking, and they lived out in the bush, and they found the hut that he was living in, and they found a pile of USB sticks.
That's right.
And they found evidence on there, and they wouldn't say what the evidence was, but I think they spoke to the parents about it and said, we have evidence on one of these USB sticks, unfortunately, to say that she's no longer with us.
Yeah.
So
that guy's not with us anymore. He passed, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But if that guy, like whatever that evidence may have been, obviously the evidence was then relayed to Kate and Jerry. They would have sat down with the parents and said, here's the evidence to show you that this is what it is. So if that was the case and that evidence was convincing, well, then they're not going to exercise any interest in talking to this girl, are they? So for them to still be open to the idea of a DNA test means the other evidence on the USB stick can't have been that strong. I mean, I'm not working for the investigation team, but...
Well, you are. You're trying to...
Could you imagine, though? Your mind runs. It would be an unbelievable story, and I think that's why people get hooked on this stuff, Fitzy. That's why last night on TikTok, Tommy, I did a good 6 hours when I was in bed.
Well, you do that every
videos,
night.
yeah.
Your dance videos. I was doing I looked at the Matt DeGroot one of him in the car doing the... where he's touching the steering wheel on a hot day, which was really good.
There's still people investigating that video.
One of the true crimes.
We still haven't got answers from that.
Police have also released a
hang
statement on that one.
No. Hang on.
No. That was, there's a reason why the TikTok account's no longer there.
You've got off TikTok, have you, mate? Is that it?
Well, it didn't get the traction. Despite your constant comments. So thank you.
Sorry, mate. We pushed it as hard as we could. Anyway, and if there's any more evidence or this DNA test does take place, we will keep you up to speed on that story.
Book for Holiday U this summer.
Because Aussies act a little different on holidays. More daring, relaxed, and sometimes more fancy.
And What If has all kinds of accommodation to suit your style.
Book your next getaway on the What If app. What if it's Aussie for travel?
We're talking about propositions. Good mate of mine, he's got 3 kids. His wife got a message from one of her friends basically saying, I've become really curious and I would like to get some advice from you. She said, I feel that you're adventurous, but I know it's not something that we've really spoken about. Then she wrote in brackets, not you and I, LOL. She hasn't, my mate's wife hasn't responded yet because she's like, I think that's a proposition.
Partner swap.
Or could it just be some advice in the bedroom that she's asking with her husband? But, you know, when you say to a friend, I'm pretty sure you're pretty adventurous.
Yeah.
I think you're propositioning someone.
Well,
and this happens quite a bit, I've heard.
I suggested that Tommy and I, on a weekend away, do a partner swap.
Yeah.
But Lisa didn't want to hook up with Inga. So it kind of fell through the cracks, unfortunately. But it would have been a great afternoon and night out to you and I. My God, who's wearing the pants in that?
What a pity.
We threw this out on Instagram overnight and it's gone a bit crazy. There's people that want to remain anonymous. So we're going to go to Ange in Sutherland Shire. Good morning, Ange.
Hi, good morning.
Ange, how were you propositioned?
I was just out having a few drinks with a few friends and basically my girlfriend just sort of said to me, you know, we've been together since we were 15, her and her boyfriend at the time, and she pretty much said we just want to spice things up a little bit in our relationship. And yeah, we just thought, you're always up for a bit of fun and a good time, and would you care to join us?
Do you know what? I would actually be... Is there an element where you're a little bit shattered that they even think that about you, Ange?
You'd be flattered, wouldn't you, Ange?
I was. Well, that was sort of my answer. I kind of just went, well, even though I'm really flattered by your request and that, but I'm kind of going to have to actually say no, that's just not me.
The thing is too, but if the couple had made a decision, they would have spoken about it, right? And said, hey, let's invite a third wheel. Ange, I reckon it'd be great for this. So, Ange, if you said no, do you know if they then moved on to option number 2?
I actually have no idea. We never discussed it again, so I have no idea. They did end up getting married, and I was bridesmaid at their wedding.
Did you think about it, though, Ange? Did it cross your mind where you went, this could be a bit of an adventure?
No, not at all. It was so not me.
Did you find him... Was it more... Were you disgusted more that you had to do it with your friend, or did you find him attractive at all, Ange, or not really?
No, not at all. I only saw them. They were only ever really good friends, so no, not at all.
Ange, good work, good decision. Did it affect the relationship at all, Ange, or you were fine with it?
No, I was fine. We just kind of went on with the night. I didn't really pay too much attention to it in the end.
13 24 10, if you've got a story, have you been propositioned by a friend as well? It would be tough. Like, imagine getting the courage, building up the courage to actually ask him. It's either going to go two ways. You could lose a friendship.
I was on a holiday once, and it was us and another couple. The other couple were open to the idea of someone else joining them. And in an awkward way, they actually invited, because we'd been staying at this hotel. This is not a joke. We'd been staying at this hotel for about a week, and they became quite friendly with a girl that was working there. And, she was waitering the table each night when we were at dinner. And they actually invited her to come and join them.
What?
And she said no.
Haven't you got a story about an NRL player and his wife?
Nope. Not me.
You do have. It was an NRL player and his wife, and you and Lisa got propositioned, didn't you? Or you were picking up vibes that they were pretty keen for you guys to go back to their house.
No. I told a story yesterday about it.
You said it was a West Tigers player.
No, I didn't. I was telling a story yesterday about an NRL player who was invited to have what was conducted like an interview with Mel B. And her bloke.
Yeah, right.
Belafonte.
No, I reckon there's another story in there. We'll get it out of you at some stage. Ellie in Elwood. We've had to change her name as well. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. How were you propositioned, Elle?
Okay. I actually voluntarily walked into a proposition by accident.
Oh, what happened?
My friend had a workmate who was banging on about how he couldn't speak to girls and he had trouble, getting a girl. So she comes up with this idea saying, I've got a friend, super friendly, loves to help people. You can take her out and practice on her. So, idiot I am, I decide, okay, it's going to be lunch and you're coming with me. So we go to lunch. He's super nervous. Yeah. And I'm like holding his hand and saying, relax, just be yourself. I'm saying things like, now would be a good time to ask me what I'd like to do on the weekend. Like, I'm just in tutorial mode, right?
Oh, so he's freaking out. Yeah, gotcha.
He leans into my friend and he says, my wife's going to love her. He didn't even know he was married. Turns out, old mate and his wife, Bertha, was wanting to get out of the marriage unless he introduced the third person into the marriage. And his only condition was that he got to choose the girl and winner, chicken dinner. Thanks.
Ultimatum.
Ellie!
Yeah, but Elliot, the weird thing was at the same time you were holding his hand.
No, exactly. My friend basically served
Ellie,
me on
you
a
were
silver platter.
You were holding his hand. Like, to me,
holding
that's
his
kind
hand.
of over the line. Yeah, I think you crossed the line. Because are you married, are you, Ellie?
I am now. I wasn't then.
Well, still, I don't know if you're being truly honest here.
Ellie, what does your husband Tony think about it?
Yeah, well, he got me to ring in today.
We know who you are, Ellie.
Yeah, good on ya.
We know exactly who you are. Tony's listening. Everyone's tuning in.
Do you know what?
The worst thing about marrying your best friend is for 5 years he had a front seat at all your dating fails.
Oh, so true. This is true. That's an amazing story, though, Ellie.
Ellie, how did you let the guy down? Were you quite disgusted with him when you found out that he was married?
I was embarrassed because I felt like I put myself out there.
Yeah.
So I was mortified, but when I get nervous, I word vomit and I start talking about swingers parties and inflatables. I still wanted to help the guy.
Okay, so, I mean, Tommy, we're doing swingers parties tomorrow as a phone topic. Should Ellie call back?
Yeah, this time tomorrow if you're free, Ellie.
Oh, my God, that's if you're not entertaining a few people, you saucy minx.
Or Tony.
We know
Hey,
Tony.
just didn't get plucked. That's the moral of the story.
I wonder what his mate Dave would think about that.
Great story, El. Thanks for your call.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Are the Royals on the nose a little bit at the moment?
Well, leave Andrew out of it.
Well, this is the thing. Andrew's actually... The rumour is that Andrew is getting advice at the moment to see if he could maybe branch out into America like Harry has, because he's not getting bankrolled anymore.
Imagine getting a phone call. Harry gets a phone call from Andrew. Hello, Harry. Just interested in the neighbourhood. What's it like? No, mate. No. You're not coming here.
But see, I mean, Harry, everyone is interested in Harry's story.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I don't know if people want to hear from Andrew.
What, Andrew wants to release a book?
Oh, my God. Well, he could.
Forget about it.
This is the thing. So he's trying to go out on his own at the moment. I mean, we're talking of Republic here in Australia. I think, did you hear even Hugh Jackman was talking about this? It's inevitable. This is what he had to say on BBC the other day.
I think Australia will become a republic at some point. It feels natural. It feels like something that is, I would guess, inevitable.
So at some stage, this is the other one that a lot of people are a bit upset with. King Charles has been knocked back by a couple of big artists for his coronation.
Oh, come on.
Ed Sheeran's said no.
Why?
Well, he's performing. He's doing his Mathematics World Tour. He is scheduled to play in Arlington in Texas on May 6, and the event is on May 7.
Does Charles call Ed Sheeran personally?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, mate, your performance at the Jubilee, people are still talking about it, Ed. Get there for my coronation.
Well, if Ed Sheeran is the biggest artist, male-wise, in the world and in England,
yeah,
who's the biggest female? By a mile. In the world. Adele's knocked him back as well.
Not Lizzo.
No, Adele has knocked him back. So she has her last gig in Las Vegas on March 25th, but there is no scheduled gig or no announcement, commitments for Adele on the day of the coronation.
Well, that might explain yesterday when I heard a report that 16 new songs had been commissioned by different artists. So they've been written for the coronation. Now, if you go to a show, if you go to a concert, and it happened here in Sydney with the Chili Peppers, and they bring out the new stuff, I'll tell you what, how to clear a room in 10 seconds. 16 new songs back to back by artists you've never heard of.
So do you know what it falls on now? Because the King is understood to be particularly keen on Harry Styles, but we don't know if he's committed yet.
Now that Harry knows Ed Sheeran and Adele can't do it, it's like before you commit to anybody, anything. Oh yeah, who's going along?
Harry's been on the road.
That party.
He's been on the road for a year and a half.
Yeah,
he would be. I know he's in Australia at the moment, but he would be fanging to have a break. He would just be...
So Harry says no. Where do you go then?
Well, then
Spice Girls again?
Yeah, Spice Girls are locked in. You're always going to get them because...
He's got the Spice Girls.
Well,
bloody Paul McCartney doesn't want another phone call.
He would like Lionel Richie as well.
Yep.
All night long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the moment, we're probably looking at Lionel Richie and Victoria Beckham.
Okay. Sam Smith, has he got the call up? He'd be a little bit busy. He's not there to make friends.
Yeah, they're on the nose.
Oh, man, it's hard work.
People don't want to do the gig.
James Corden, do you reckon you could drop in?
Coronation.
What's Jason Derulo? Could he turn up as Rub Tug Tugger?
Why don't you get... I mean, you're not going to get Oasis because the Gallagher brothers are still fighting. Could you get Oasis?
That's not bad.
What a cover band. Yeah, let's do cover bands.
Yep.
Who was...
Followed by Blobby Williams.
Blobby Williams was awesome. Just the heavier version. He's got 12 chins. Charles, I'm sorry, mate. Robbie said no. That's not Robbie. No, it's Blobby.
What was the ABBA cover band we had in here as well?
Avalanche.
Avalanche, that's right.
Mate, they're ready to go. Charles, it's still going to be a party, mate. Chin up.
That's what
We'll help you out.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Combining two names to name your child. A couple have got into a bit of trouble here because Sam and Ella decided to combine their two names.
Smeller.
No. They named their child Sam Nella.
Salmonella.
Yeah, which a lot of people have had a go at them about, and they're getting quite angry now because it's not Salmonella, it's Sam Nella.
Sam
Don't
Nella.
have a go. But this is becoming more common now where people are actually combining two names.
What a terrible name. Do you know, I think the first time I kind of thought, oh, is that a combination of a name, was when I met Nathaniel, who was a singer.
Nathan and Daniel.
Nathan and Daniel. G'day, Nath. How are you, Daniel? What do you want to call the kid? Nathan or Daniel?
Yeah, that's...
Nathaniel.
Actually, it's not bad.
Although Nathaniel sounds more like a biblical name, doesn't it? But I don't know where Nathaniel's from as a name or if it's a combo.
I liked Emmeline. I always liked it, and a lot of people... And this was from the song from Ben Folds.
Emmeline.
And that's where I got it from, and I just liked it. And BJ was like, "No, well, what are you just combining Emma and Caroline? What are you doing?" And I'm going, no, it's a beautiful name, which would be shortened to Emma or M.
I don't think Emmeline is a combo name, is it?
Well, no, I don't.
Is that a package deal?
Well, a lot of people do say it's Emma and Caroline combined.
Okay.
13 24 10, get involved. Olivia in Thornley, you got one for us, Liv?
Yes, I have two cousins, and one of them is named Jex Buddha.
Jex Buddha?
The other name, is Indigo Dragon.
Oh, wow. What the reasoning behind it, Olivia?
Their mum's just really hippie. Like, really hippie.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like it. You know, I've got a bit of an issue with the first one. What was it? Jax Buddha?
Jex.
Jex.
Buddha.
Where's Jex? I've heard of Jax, but not Jex.
Yeah, Jex Buddha and Indigo Dragon.
I mean, if the kid's chubby too and you've called it Buddha, it's going to be rubbing its belly.
In the family, Liv, have you shortened their names? What do you call them?
Yeah, we call them Jex and Indigo.
And Indigo.
But yeah, their full name.
What was the Indigo's second name?
Indigo Dragon.
Indigo Dragon. Why wouldn't you go Butterfly or something if you want to go down the hippie Bumblebee or something?
Just a big what, Game of Thrones fan? Or what are you doing while you're doing it?
Mud Dragon.
Oh,
no idea. Very, very odd.
Let's go to Alia. Alia now from Shell Harbour. Alia, you got a name for us?
Well, it's actually Alia, but I'll forgive you because it's still early.
Sorry, Alia.
Go on, Alia.
I'm opposed to the joint names, but my friends actually came up with a good one. Their names are Sam and Carly, and they came up with Amali for their daughter.
Amali.
Sam and Carly, and they went with Amali.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Well, you could have just gone Marley, but Amali.
Yeah, Amali.
That's the first time I've heard Amali.
Yeah, probably the last.
It's funny. They took the first letters off each of their names, and that was it.
Do you know, I mean, we took a phone call yesterday, I think, Tommy, from a girl called Amel.
No. You said Amel and got it wrong.
Yeah, it was like Amelia.
It's Emil.
Yeah, Emil.
Remember we had to...
Not you. Unlike you to get Emil wrong.
It's Warwick.
Remember me, guys? We had to host an event, Fitz, if you remember this, and we had to introduce a guy. And I'm pretty sure...
this was you.
No, I think you got it wrong. His name was... Anil.
No.
You remember this?
No, mate.
And we were up there on stage in front of everybody, and I went, it's Anil. Anil. Remember that? And you went, please put your hands together.
No, mate. You are living in your own world there.
Never tried it.
This is coming from the man who called Ghislaine Maxwell this morning, Ghislaine.
I thought that's what it was. Sometimes you stumble, but nobody's perfect.
Oh, that is not a road I'm travelling up, that's for sure. Lisa in Rydalmere, you got a name for us, Lisa?
Yeah, my partner's name is Shannon and I'm Lisa, and we got Sasha.
Say that again.
So my partner's Shannon.
Shannon, yep.
And I'm Lisa, and we combined our names together to get Sasha.
Sasha, but see, Sasha is a name. You can get away with that. I do like that. Good sentiment there, Lisa. Let's go to Mia now from Randwick. Mia, you got one?
I'm here. I haven't. She called.
Got a terrible line, Mia. That's what we got there.
Yeah, we got to go back.
That's
MIA. She's missing in action there.
See you later, Mia. I mean, Mia's a nice name. Like, here's a bit of Lisa's middle name is Marie, so she's Lisa Marie.
Ah, Presley.
And she married Elvis.
Oh, that's terrible, Tom. The King.
Okay.
I mean, call me what you want.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Adesta. We've got Adesta on the line. Are we talking your name, Adesta, or someone else's?
No, it's my name, yeah.
So what's combined?
Edgar and Esther, so Ed from Edgar and then Esther.
So your dad was Edgar?
Yes.
And your mum was Esther?
Yep.
But being a female, people can't call you Ed, or do they call you Ed?
I know, the people call me yeah, they do.
I think it's quite strange that parents would say, hey, let's make a name out of our name.
Yes.
I don't know. It's like when people call their kid the same name as them.
Well, who was it?
Imagine if I had a kid and said, hey, this is Michael. Isn't your name Michael? Yeah.
Well, no, that's juniors.
Yeah, Michael
but
Jr.
See, George Foreman had seven boys and they were all called George.
Yep.
And then finally had a female, and he named his daughter Georgette.
Yeah, but that's because
I'm not joking.
That's because he's been beaten around the head so often. He didn't want to have to remember anybody's name. So I think it's a bit weird if you combine your names. Like, imagine if Lisa and I sat down and said, Misa, who's that? Or Michael and Lisa. You don't need to do that.
Or Lykel would be all right.
This is like Lilac Lykel. Meet Lykel. I mean, if my name was Jean-Paul, like Dad wanted to call me, it'd be different again.
Well, Tommy, you could have had a little tinger.
Oh, yeah.
The ring tinger.
That would have been...
Tom, I like that. Tinger.
Maddie, what about yours? Could we go with a
Bronte and Matt would be a brat.
You'd be Brat de Groot.
Very shy.
Or what about just Rat de Groot?
What?
That's what we just said.
You said Brat.
Oh.
I went with Rat. Love Rat de Groot.
We were going so well.
No, we weren't, mate. No, we weren't.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
This is fascinating stuff. Con Air guys, let's talk about the way they move prisoners around the states. 200,000 inmates a year go on what's called the Justice Prisoner and Alien Transportation System.
Why are they alien?
No idea, because they don't fit in with normal society. But they move people, and it's fascinating to see the aeroplane and what they actually do. So they have what's called black box handcuffs. So the handcuffs are, instead of, you know how you have sort of the chain link between the two cuffs? This one is a black box, so it's fixed, so your hands are actually closer together. For prisoners that are badly behaved, there's a cage at the back of the plane in case they have to move people. So the other thing is, too, they try and break up the gangs that might be in prison that have to be transported across borders. Don't worry about me, MDG. I'm on fire. Anyway, it's amazing.
You might be a bit inebriated, I think.
Oh, well, that's one thing that doesn't get served on this flight. You wouldn't want to be a nervous flyer, would you? Because you can't really press the button and hope for a red wine to come down to the back of the plane for you.
I would rather be on Con Air than fly next to you, to be honest, though.
That is completely unfair. I mean, they've had some celebrity passengers as well. You know, there's Ghislaine Maxwell at the moment.
Sorry.
They moved her...
Ghislaine. Tell me that was a joke.
Oh, man.
Ghislaine? What's her name?
Ghislaine. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'd stay in your lane as well.
Don't do that on the flight, for God's sake. Man, and you know what? They spend all their time, apparently, because they have so many court marshals on there, the airline marshals, is that there's people trying to go to the toilet the entire time. They just want to stand up and get out of the seat. They're agitated. Yeah. They don't know where they're going. They don't know about the new prison, and they're not happy. What was interesting in this headline was saying that Dr. Chris Brown... Chris Brown, the singer.
Oh, my God. You're flying.
This has been amazing. Do you know what? This is recap of the week in one break.
I think I'll head off now because I'm working towards a punchline, but it's really not going to plan. Apparently, Chris Brown, when he was put on the system here, he throughout the entire flight sang from the minute they took off to the minute they landed, while the other passengers on the flight were furious at Chris Brown singing some of his big hits.
That's torture itself.
I know. I've got the audio here if you want to have a listen.
I got friends and you got friends. We hop out and you hop in. There can be one only you. God can never make two.
Dr. Chris Brown would have been far more interesting.
Got to splice some Con Air audio in there, and
Well, I left it with Snitchy, the audio guy. It's the first time I've heard it too, mate, to be honest. The prep monster strikes again.
It's a good start.
How do you guys think that went?
Yeah.
When are the radio
really good.
awards, Tommy? When are the
That's
actors
okay. No, the rehearsal, that was fun for rehearsal. In the live version, I think we'll cut that down.
When are we going live, Tom?
Any minute.
Any chance we could get Ghislaine on the show?
Mate, it's Ghislaine for your...
Don't drive down that lane, mate.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't be doing that.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
A journalist, sporting journalists as well, they try to find out a little bit about this is a soccer player. A soccer player was being interviewed, and the journalist found out a little bit about where he played before the current soccer club that he was at. And it was a place called Carlisle. I've checked Carlisle. Carlisle's about 3.5 hours north of Manchester.
Right.
And it's on the Scottish border, so it's a very cold, windy, dark place.
Yeah, right.
So the journalist decided, I can have a bit of a crack at Carlisle because I've been there once myself.
Okay.
Have a listen to the soccer player's reaction at the end.
You didn't score very many goals in your life. You played at Carlisle. Carlisle United. I've been there once with Brighton. Then I phoned my mum. I said, Mum, I'm there. She said, where? I'm at the bloody end of the world. Is that the bloody end of the world, Carlisle?
Yeah, it's
a punishment to play there, eh? You play there?
Yeah, for me, no. It's my hometown, so for me it was good there.
It's your hometown?
Yeah, my home.
It's the bloody end of the world there, eh? You never want... My mum said, get out.
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
You should have had a cup of tea with
Where
my
all my
auntie.
friends and my family are.
I love the place.
Yeah, we love the place.
God, thanks so much for your chat. Bloody end of the world.
Oh, you grew up there? Oh, thanks for joining me.
Oh, brilliant.
Your voice has drifted from somewhere quite accurate to I think you're now Gru.
Am I?
Your accent has
I'm Gru.
really gone on a journey.
I thought I was sliding into Borat, to be honest. I didn't know where I was going.
The Fitzy and Whipper Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.